Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing with you guys some assumptions that you have given me about being a first year teacher, teaching in general, me as a teacher. I went to Instagram last week and asked you guys what some things you were assuming are, and you guys gave me some really good ones, so I'm going to kind of try to clear the air, talk about them today, and hopefully this will help make some of you feel a little bit better about teaching, because I know personally I thought a lot differently about teaching before I became an actual teacher, and there were a lot of things I was scared for. There were a lot of things I was just really nervous and uncertain about. So hopefully answering some of these questions and clearing up some of these assumptions today will help you too. Okay, so the first assumption that I have is grading and report cards are hard. I would say that it can be hard, to be completely honest. However, I think there are tons of ways that you can make it easier on yourself. If you go throughout the year without really tracking a whole lot of data or collecting, evidence in that data, then yes, when it comes time to do report cards and give out grades, it is going to be a little bit harder because you're not really going to have things to reference. And so I recommend keeping as much data and tracking stuff as you can throughout the year, because then when it does come to be time to give out report cards and give out grades, you have evidence to pull from. You can see how the child has progressed throughout the year. So yeah, it doesn't have to be difficult as long as you did your job and you tracked enough and you kept enough data and you have evidence to pull from. When it is time to give out grades and fill out those report cards, it really shouldn't be that hard. Okay, the next assumption is that you won't have a life outside of school your first year. This one is hard for me because my outside of school life also includes a lot of school related things. Like I do YouTube and I make a lot of videos about school and teaching. I also am very active on Instagram, which is a teacher account. So a lot of my life does revolve around school. However, if you make time for it, it will happen. And if you make it a priority in your life to set that personal time aside and do other things, then it will happen. It's just that you have to make it happen. And so I made it a routine that every day after school I would go to the gym. That was just something that I did for myself. And even now with virtual learning, before I even start my school day, I wake up and I work out. I get ready, I put makeup on and do my hair, which is just something that I really enjoy. I eat breakfast and spend time with my family, and that's just something that I enjoy doing. And then my school day will start. And then once my school day is over, when we were back in school, that was normally around 4 o'clock, but now that I am virtual learning at home, it is a little bit harder to determine when school is over, but I try to cut myself off around like 3 or so. And so then after that, I go and do other things that I really enjoy doing, like hanging out with my friends, going for a walk, going shopping, those other things that bring me joy. So I think the important things are to remember that your school hours are between this time, and that is time to focus on work. After that, I mean, it is your time. It is your personal time. You really don't need to be working on things at home. I will say I'm definitely guilty of bringing stuff home because, especially in the beginning of the year when you are a first year teacher, there are a lot of other things. You're changing things in your classroom. Your mind is always thinking about, well, what can I fix? What can I change? Which I think is okay because it really helped my classroom get to the point that it is now, and I'm very happy with where it is now, so that now I don't have to do so much outside of school and I feel a lot more comfortable going and doing other things for me. But you do have to remember that you will burn yourself out if you don't do anything else other than focus on school. So you need to take that time, find that time, even if it's something little like doing a face mask or doing your nails or getting your nails done, something like that. Take that time for you, because taking that break will help you not burn out as quickly. And I always tell my kids, like, we had a calm down corner in our classroom, and whenever they were feeling frustrated or just like it was too much, they would go over there, and then when they came out of that after a couple of minutes, they felt rejuvenated. They were kind of like having a fresh start. The frustration wasn't there anymore. It kind of just resets your mind. So taking that little bit of time to focus on yourself will reset your mind so that when you do go back to your school and thinking about school and doing stuff for school, you're way more motivated, you will get a lot more done, and you'll just have a much clearer head. So it's super important to find that time. You definitely do have the time to do other things. I'm not going to lie, I do think that it is a little bit harder in the beginning of the year, but finding that balance is something that takes a little bit of time. So it's okay, it's normal, I totally get it. I was the same way, I still am a little bit of the same way, but throughout the year you should focus a lot more on trying hard to find that balance so that you can spend time focusing on yourself. Okay, the next one says you were overwhelmed every week. This is not something that was true for me, and I can tell you how I made this not true for me. I am not gonna lie, there were definitely a lot of weeks this year that I was overwhelmed, but it stemmed from different things. Whether it was I had observations that week, and sometimes I would have multiple observations in a week. It could have been parent conference week. That always stressed me out. I'm going through it right now. That was always a little bit more overwhelming. When I had deadlines to hit, when we had special events going on, when things weren't our normal schedule, it did overwhelm me a little bit more because there was just extra stuff to do. But I did as much as I could to help not overwhelm myself by preparing for them, thinking ahead, making sure that I wasn't waiting until the last minute. When I did wait till the last minute, or when something popped up and I wasn't ready for it, like I kind of forgot about it, didn't have the time to prepare, that's when I became overwhelmed, because I don't do well when I'm not prepared for things. I like to know what's going on and I like to be prepared for them. So yes, I was overwhelmed plenty of times. It's going to happen. There are going to be those moments where just a lot of things are piling up on your plate. But if you can plan ahead as best as you can, prepare as much as you can, and try, if you have any say in it, just spread out deadlines. Like, don't pile everything up on the same week or the same day, then that will help you a lot and you'll be a lot less overwhelmed. Okay, the next one says, you spent a lot of money on your first classroom. I am not going to lie, I am definitely guilty of that. I don't even know how much it was, to be honest, but definitely a good amount of money. My school gave us, our PTA gave us, I think it was $150 to spend on our classroom, and I went way over that. But I looked at it as, I'm investing in my classroom, I'm investing in my students, these are things I'm going to use for years. I definitely think the first year I spent a lot more money. I do not plan to spend as much in the upcoming years. Even this year alone, there really isn't that much more that I need. But if you are looking for ways to keep it budget friendly and not break the bank when trying to stock a classroom, I do have another video that I just posted recently that I will link up here in a card, that tells you some ways in some different places you can go and find things so that you are not spending a ton of money. You weren't taken seriously by team members or parents. This is something that I had feared a lot coming into my first year of teaching. I thought for sure, not so much my team members, because from the get-go I felt really comfortable with them, but more so my parents. Like, I remember the first day of school when my kids came in with their parents and I gave my little like about me and about the school year presentation, and I told the parents like that I just graduated from Penn State, and never did I come out and say like this is my first year of teaching, but they all knew it was kind of, you know, a given thing. It was probably announced in some other way throughout the school, but they all knew it was my first year of teaching. So it definitely made me nervous all year long about reaching out to parents and making sure I was saying the right things and making sure that the kids were learning. Like, I was really nervous about that kind of stuff. But now that the year is coming to a close, and as I'm going through conferences right now, I have gotten such good feedback and support from my parents this year that I could not have imagined that it could be any better than that. Just the sweetest compliments and feedback, and it makes me really feel like, okay, I am doing my job, things are actually going well, and they appreciate it, and they are proud of what's happened this year in our classroom. So that's made me feel really good, and it has definitely reassured me a little bit. But yes, I was really nervous about parents this year. My teammates, like I said, was very comfortable with them from the get-go. They are awesome people. However, just naturally, I think being a first-year teacher, I did kind of stand back a little bit and let them run the show a little bit more, because they obviously know the school, they know the routines, they know what works and what doesn't work very well. They had a lot of input, and yes, I did give my input when needed and when I felt like it was necessary, but I did a lot of the time kind of sit back and let them give me input, because I valued it a lot and it was a learning experience for me. So my teammates were super awesome about wanting and encouraging my advice and my opinions on everything, which was awesome. So I definitely wasn't intimidated by them, but I will say that I did step back a little bit because I was trying to absorb so much new information, and they were just super helpful and I loved listening to them. But when I did have an opinion or want to voice something, I absolutely did. So I think that I was taken seriously by them as well. Right, the next one says, you doubt your career choice a lot. I don't. I really don't doubt my career choice a lot. I will tell you, I did not go into college as a education major. I went in as a business major. I'd always wanted to be a teacher, but at this point in my life, I was doubting the career choice. I was told I'm not going to make any money. I was told, you know, it's such an unstable, like constantly changing environment that isn't moving in the right path. I was told a lot of negative things about teaching, and it did scare me. So I originally went to college and declared being a business major. However, I quickly discovered that that wasn't for me and that teaching really was the place that I was meant to be in. And so I went back, you know, changed my major. Here I am now. I don't doubt it though. Yes, I believe that the money could be better. Yes, I believe that the education system could be better, but I am very confident in the fact that I know that my purpose in life is to educate children in so many different ways. I just feel like there were so many moments this year that were validating that I'm in the right career, which has felt so good, because it is super easy to doubt if you're in the right spot or not. And I think that that's definitely been validated this year. I know that this is the career for me at this point, and so I really don't have any doubts about my career choice. Okay, the next one is kind of like one I already said, but it says you won't have time for anything else because being a first year is crazy busy. Like I said, you make time for what is important to you. I just want to put that out there though and say that it's not true that you won't have time for anything else. You absolutely do have time for other things. Your school day is only from this time to this time. What happens after school and what happens before school, that is still your time. So you do with that what you want. I mean, if you choose to keep talking and thinking about school and doing things for school, that is your choice, but that's your time. So yes, I do still do things for school outside of school, and it's okay with me, but I just make sure that I also am making a lot of other time for other things, and I'm not doing that every single day. Okay, the next one says you don't like your current school and that's why you're leaving. That is a completely false assumption. I honestly, and I can't even express this enough, I love my current school. Everything about it, my administration, my team, my other coworkers, the students, the area that it's in, I really truly love my school. Really the only thing that I don't enjoy about it is that my commute is an hour long, but that's kind of my choice. I love my school, I really do, but the reason that I am leaving is because I know that I've always wanted to live in North Carolina. That's just where I've wanted to end up, and it's just overall a better choice to do it now in my life than wait. So I am making that decision, that executive decision, and just doing it, but I really truly do love my school, and I have had a great first year there. Alright you guys, this video is getting pretty long, so I'm gonna go ahead and end it here. Thank you guys so much for sending in assumptions if you had them. I hope that this helped clear up and ease some minds if that was the purpose of you watching this video. Otherwise, I hope you just found it enjoyable. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will talk to you in the next video. Bye.